In 1948, more than 800 people from the Caribbean, many of whom had served in the British Armed Forces, arrived at Tilbury Docks in Essex on board the Empire Windrush. This moment has come to symbolise a generation who, between 1948 and the early 1970s, travelled here from their homelands to help rebuild Britain after the Second World War. They made their lives here, but in 2017, shocking stories began to hit the headlines. It emerged that the authorities had not kept records of those given permission to stay. As a result of the Conservative government's policy of creating a hostile environment for migrants, people who had lived and worked and contributed to this country for their entire lives were being wrongly deported. People found themselves suddenly unable to work, unable to access healthcare and housing and basic services. In some cases, they were forced to leave when their homes and families and hearts were here in the UK. This has become known as the Windrush scandal. In 2018, the government was forced to launch the Windrush scheme. This enabled the people affected who settled in the UK but through no fault of their own don't have the documents to prove their British identity to apply for recognition of their existing right to live and work in the UK. The Windrush story is about the working class who built this country, both the workers who arrived on the ships, like the Windrush, and the working communities that they became part of. This is the story of Unite member Lisa Crawford and her parents George and Dolores.
My name is Marilyn Crawford. They call me Dolores, right? And my age, I'm 18. You know what? I'll be 18 in September. You know, and I came up from Jamaica in 1964, and been living in Wolverhampton with my mom and my sisters, and then I got married to this gentleman.
My name is George Crawford. I'm living in Leeds now for 66 years.
I'm Lisa, and I have been working for Shelter for since 2017, and been part of the union since 2016, and so it's just really, I'm glad to be part of the union. Actually, I've been there since 2016, so how many years is that? 7 years almost? Yeah.
As a 17-year-old, when I came to England, I came off at Southampton and I got on the train to come to Leeds. And I came for 2 years. And after 2 years I'm going. And so when I saw the chimneys on the houses, I thought, lots of factories in this country. I'm going to change jobs. I'm going to get lots of jobs. Because that's a factory, because we don't have chimneys in Jamaica. And so when I came here and then I got to Leeds, went into a terrace house. We don't have terrace house. Never seen terrace house before. This long building. You know what I mean? So those are the shocks that I saw when they came here. It's been really shocking.
Because I was only a teenager when I came, and my mom was living in England. The thing I could complain is the cold. It was very, very cold them days. And 64, it was cold. You could see the icicle, what they call them, icicle, and the snows were up here. Yeah. So I can't really complain of being ill-treated in England. Yeah. And I remember that we were living into a tenant house, rented
house. Yeah.
One big house. And it has 8 apartment rooms, and family have 1 room. Family with 2-3 children have 1 room, and the big house would have one cooker with four burners. And you used to drop your 6 pence in the meter. And when sometimes you come from work, somebody's using and burn out that gas that you put your 6 pence in. You come home, you don't have any gas to cook because somebody burned that out. And you have to wait sometimes for one person to finish that cooker before you can use the cooker. But it was tough them days, really tough.
There was 5 under 21 West Indian. That's Barbadian kids in Jamaica. 5 of us under 21, the whole of Leeds. Okay, not one black woman, single woman, not one. If we had a party, because we're really looking for places at the time for social, and so we'll have parties and you go to the party, and if there was one young girl in that place, all the black guys are coming from all over. Yeah, it's a history that it's good, tough but good. When we came here, we come into the motherland. You understand me? I think the Windrush people too, they won't worry about the ship they came on. There were no plane flying them days. But it does say British citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, so all I know is in Jamaica, all I knew when I was growing up from baby to 17 years of age was the British anthem. We didn't have Jamaica didn't have an anthem. You know what I mean? The police were Jamaican, and the laws and everything like that were British. You know, everything was British. So when I came here, I'm expecting that it's like I'm moving from one county to another. When it comes here, just that they have to come on a ship and through the waters and everything. We just come and to the mother country. Obviously, I was disappointed when I came because the way we were rejected. You know, we were really rejected by many. The people who have a room to rent, because that's all you could get, no flat, no thing, that's a room to rent, will be putting it up in the post office saying room for rent. And when you go there and they see that you're coming and you're black and everything like that, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. It was, like I said, they sent for us to come here, to help England out. Now you're touching a sore point when you talk about Windrush. The Windrush scandal hit me very, very hard. Because when I realized that by the time we found out that people were being sent home, we'd been deported under quiet, I thought, how long will it be before I'm on it going out? Because I came here similar to most of them. Because I showed you my passport that I came and that type of thing. If I didn't have something like that here, I have no papers like the others do, maybe I would be going back again after being here that long. Okay, but the Windrush thing as they're sending us back, that hurts. You know, and really that totally got over it. Even though they said they're giving compensation and things like that, I really didn't get over it, because if it wasn't for the Brexit, if it wasn't for Brexit, the thing would have carried on longer than that. But how it come, maybe you don't know this, but it was so quiet. The Jamaican government knew about it, that they were sending people over. The Barbadian government knew about it, that they were sending, but it wasn't published in this country. So when Mrs. May were looking for, we're going to get trade from the West Indian country, the Barbadian government and the Jamaican government says they want to meet with Mrs. May, and she didn't have time. And they were not going to talk to her until she does something about the Windrush. And that's how it comes out. Okay, because they were quietly sending people back. It wasn't published. They were just quietly doing it, and so nobody knows about it. But the Barbadian and Jamaican government would meet out. If it wasn't for Brexit, we wouldn't know about it. And maybe they come to the point where me as well. People were sent home who had the house here, you know what I mean, who married here, who had children here, were sent back. So you can imagine if I was deported to go out there, and when we're asking again, what family? My family, they died. Where were you born? That place is grown up in bush now. So where am I going to go?
The first time we went back to Jamaica, and I was walking in the district that I was born. And one day I was just walking down the road, and I thought, my God, I don't know anybody here. You know what I mean? I'm a stranger. Because it felt like that, nobody, because everybody's grown up, and some is gone. Leave the district and gone. So you feel like a stranger.
Like I said, we have to have a fighting spirit to get through. Real good fight. Now, the fact is that black men, we say black men, not women, we couldn't go into Leeds town by yourself. Okay? So you had to have a fighting spirit, a determined spirit to do the thing. The first qualified black instructor in Leeds, driving instructor, I had to, well, nobody would train me. And it was like a joke when you said you want to be a driving instructor as a black guy. And I come up against a lot of prejudices. Turned up for people that book the driving lesson. And when they see that it's black, they turn off. Don't worry me. I'm going on with it. I'm going on. Going to Harrogate at one time, and I've got police were giving direction. And when he looked at the car, they got the sign on the top, and he looked and he sees a black man. He do. Don't worry me. I'm carrying on. Okay. And I became one of the, I wouldn't say best, I'm not blowing the trumpet. And I remember my driving school was next door to the test center, and one examiner came into the driving school, and he says, oh, that George Crawford is one of our best instructors that come up here. He says, even if his pupil fail, they give you a good ride. That's good for me. I mean, I want to be the best and everything like that. Like I said, I was a member of the TNG. The reason is this, that I'm working at this engineering place to make Leland trucks, the parts for Leland trucks and things. And every time, because at them days it was the kind of a rule at the firm that you have to join the union. You know, you must join a union as it's a compulsory. But every so often we would get all out. What for? Nobody's tell you. But we have to go on strike. You're not making much money. It's piecework. And you thought to yourself, if I work this hard, I'll have about £7 to get. I'm on my way to make £7 for the week. All out. What for? What we going out for? All out. And you go out, you come back, and you never know what did they strike for.
I'm just thinking about how it's completely different today. Completely different today. We know what we're striking for. We decide whether we're striking. It's a vote between all the members.
Oh, we didn't have vote.
We don't have anything like that anymore. Like the last one that we had, this is the first time I've ever had a strike in my experience in the 7 years. But I mean, it was a very important reason why we were doing it. And I remember going through the motions till it got to the very last point, and you know, the members were not agreeing with the wage dispute, and so we decided to strike. And we all knew why we were striking, and how long it was going to go on for, and you just felt the support from it, you know. Compared to that, I mean, you've come a long way. So to me, I'm just like, wow, it's a different time. You know?
We know that we are in a union and there's somebody there if there's a problem can fight for it.
Yeah.
You see, that's but we never have a problem. What was a good, we were getting £6 an hour. £6
A week.
a week. £6 a week. And I worked there until we start getting piecework. And the biggest wage I ever had, it was £13. £13. I think I was working more money than G. Yeah, £13. And it used to go a long way, you know, because you could save from that.
We came to England in the 50s. It was 48 hours a week was the norm. And then it's union that fight for it to come down to, I think, 42 hours. And then they came down to 40. And that was good because we were thinking the union is doing something in that case. And they got through with that by negotiation, not by strike.
You don't realise that your little story at the time while you live in it, you don't realise that's going to be something part of history later on down the line. And so I do realise that, it's important to know that, you know, how far we've come. I think it's just important to know because my experience with the union and your experience is two different things.
Yeah.
They've got stories to tell, especially being part of Windrush, and obviously you've got plenty of trade union stories. I think especially young people, they tend to forget all of that stuff, you know, and they don't know where this all comes from, you know, and what the struggles they had to come from, and, you know, especially, you know, coming here and not being able to find any room, not finding any jobs. I know we have a long way to go still, but I don't think we understand how far we actually really have come from. So it's always good to know where we actually have come from. And I don't think I would be able to deal with it. I'd been happy just staying in Jamaica where it's warm. Looking back on their history is why I'm here today and where I've got these opportunities now. Because if they didn't do it, then I don't know what we would be like now.
We would like to give thanks to everyone involved in this project, including Lisa, George and Dolores Crawford, Femi Dwayne Williams, Ian Halstead, Tom Gardner, Katrina Taylor, and the North East Yorkshire and the Humber BAEM Committee. You can find out more about Unite's work on equality on our website,